Hi, I'm going to quickly go through Lab 7 here and hopefully point out some things that might have been a little bit cryptic in the instructions. First, with the lab, you're going to start with the additional document that I put on Blackboard called Creating Band Sets for Lab 7. And that's going to take you through the first few steps of this tutorial too, the downloading and atmospheric correction. So what you're going to want to do is bring up your plugin band set dialog, click on the green icon here and go to the lab 7 folder, and I've already completed the lab, so I have lots of extra data here that you won't have if you're just getting started. Okay, you had the three folders that you downloaded. Start with the February 10th data from 2017. Open this up, and you're going to want to select all 7 of these bands. Click on one, hold down shift, click on the last, and make sure just to get the TIFF files. There are maybe 1 or 2 other files in this folder. You don't need those. And then you're going to open those. I've already done it, so I'm going to cancel. After they come into this single band list, you can select them and then click on the plus sign to add the bands to a band set down below. If you've done this correctly, you will have 10 bands and they will also all be from February 10th of 2017. Next thing you do is click on a new band set with this icon here. Go back, and I'm not going to go through this show you the individual steps here, but go back and get the January 1st from 2017. Look in that folder, download those bands, and then you'll have to select them in this upper dialog and make sure that they're going into band set 2. And again, if you've done it correctly, you'll have 10 rows in this band set 2. Create a new band set, go back and open the third one from February 10th of 2018, and then select those bands in the single band list once they show up. Now it is once you keep adding bands to the single band list, so it gets rather long after a while. And so you have to make sure that when you're creating the band sets, you're only selecting out the ones that are going to go into a particular band set. So and you know do that by clicking on one, holding down shift or control, and clicking on another one, and then click the plus sign to add them. Okay, so I'm going to have 3 band sets here. I suggested that you do that in the order of February 10th of 2017, January 1st of 2017 going into band set 2, and February 10th of 2018 going into band set 3. You don't have to do it in that order, but if you've done it in a different order, you'll need to be aware of that, because that's going to change some of your choices down the line. So now we have our 3 band sets created, and at the same time those layers have been added to QGIS in the background here. So the next step is to create a cloud mask, and so you're going to go to the browser window, navigate to the 2017 February 10th folder, and bring in this msk underscore clouds underscore b00.gml file. Just drag it in or double click on it, and if I go back to my layers, it is a cloud mask layer that the European Space Agency has supplied with this data set. Okay, your next step is to convert this cloud mask layer to a shapefile by right-clicking, going Export, Save Features As, make sure it says Esri shapefile on the top, give it a file name, and put it in your Lab 7 folder, and then say OK there. I've done this, so I'm going to say cancel. It will add the layer to the project. At this point, you could remove the original mask features layer by highlighting it and then going up to the remove layer button up here. I'm not going to bother to do that right now. So I have a clouds layer, and the next step is to convert this polygon, vector polygon shapefile from to a raster. And so I'm going to do that by bringing up the pre-processing menu and clicking on the vector to raster tab. Add your shapefile in here. If you don't get anything showing up here at first, it means just click on this button, and it will give you a choice of layers. Check the use constant value, say 1, and then you have to select a reference raster. Any of the satellite bands would do. Whatever, click on the refresh list, and whatever one shows up is fine. Okay, then you'll run it, and it will ask you for a folder. I suggest that that you just go ahead and well, you can put it in wherever you choose. I'll leave it at that. Okay, after we've created our what I've called the cloud raster here, just so that you can see it, I'll turn everything else off. Okay, so same data, now it's converted into a raster, and we're going to use that to mask that February 10th of 2017 image that had all those clouds in it. So back to the semi-automatic classification plugin dialog here. Way over on the right under pre-processing is cloud masking. Here you're going to select your input band set. Now this is where you need to pay attention. I put my February 10th of 2017 data in band set 1. So if you've done it differently, you need to change that number here. Put in your cloud raster that you just created. Mask values of 1 are set here. Choose an output name prefix. The default is the word mosaic. I've shortened it to just M. And then when you click run down here, you'll be asked to choose an output folder. When I do this, I always create a new folder to hold the output data. I like keeping the different data sets separate, but that's up to you. So run that. Something else I should say is if you're using the larger data set for this exercise, this can take a few minutes to do, maybe 5-10 minutes if you've got an older computer. I'm running this on a pretty powerful workstation that I have, and it probably took 2 or 3 minutes to crank through. So if nothing happens right away, don't be upset. Call up your browser and see what the current coronavirus information is, and do something else, and eventually you'll hear the little chime for the plug-in that lets you know everything's done. Okay, so after we get our cloud mask data, then the next step is to substitute in for the cloud pixels, substitute in the data from the January 1st image. So to do that, we're going to choose the mosaic band sets. Before we do that, before we actually run this tool, we have to go back to the band set and actually add a 4th band set. This new band set that we created by clicking on the add a new band set button, and then selecting the appropriate bands from the single band list. Remember, mine all had a prefix of M. Yours, if you took the default, would say mosaic. But select those in the single band list, click on the add to band set button, And so you have a new band set here with the or the cloud masked data. I guess that's what it's going to say, not mosaic. It's going to say masked here. Okay, back to the pre-processing. You enter this in the order of the masked band is first. So for me, that's band set 4. And then you want to comma, and then you want to enter the number of the band set that had the data you want to fill in from January 1st of 2017. So for me, that's band set 2. Put in an output name. The default is mosaic. I've put in MOS instead, just to shorten it up a bit. Click Run. You'll be asked to fill in a new, either choose a folder or create a new one. I always create a new one for my mosaic data. Let it run. Again, it may take 5-10 minutes for the data to process. After you've got your mosaiced, the next step is to go down to band processing, and we're going to calculate the spectral distance. We're going to use this to determine whether or not there's been any change in the pixels. Your first input data set is going to be the mosaiced data set that you just created, and again, you have to go back to band sets and create a new band set for that. So now I have a band set 5 with MOS underscore M underscore. So yours, if you took the defaults, would say mosaic underscore mask underscore, etc. So that's now my band set 5. That's going to be my beginning data set for 2017. The second input band set is going to be the band set from February 10th of 2018. Choose spectral angle mapping. You can read about spectral angle mapping in the tutorial instructions. Set a threshold distance of 10. Run it. Again, you'll be asked to select a folder. When you get the end there, let's see, you will get 2 rasters created. The one with the red values, these are the pixels that had a spectral distance of greater than or equal to 10. So this is where the changes occurred. The other raster is a raster that actually just measures this difference in the spectral angle. If you use the value tool that you've used in previous labs, you can turn it on, and you can see as I'm moving my cursor around here, I can see what the spectral angle distance is. If it's less than 10, then the program says that that's not a changed pixel. If it's greater than 10, the program says that yes, it is. And there were a lot of changed pixels in this particular image. And if you zoom in to an area and then use some of the band combination tools that you used earlier with this plugin, you can actually see the changes using true color images or color infrared band combinations to determine why those pixels were flagged as being changed between the 2 dates. Okay, so if you have any, that gives you just a real brief overview of how I went about this. If you have any questions, email, or even better, post to the Blackboard discussion list, and we'll get back to you.